talk about the offer to purchase the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School. We have received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School. We have received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School, which we don't want to do, but at the same time, you guys are donating, and we thank you, all the donors, for donating. But at the same time, money is not coming easy. Money is not coming easy.
For more than 10 years, Dr. Umar Johnson presented himself as royalty, the self-proclaimed prince of Pan-Africanism. He was a man who demanded loyalty, discipline, and significant cash donations from his supporters, all in the name of Black liberation. He was a fiery voice whose booming speeches could command a room. He turned rallies into sermons, convincing his followers they were funding a movement that would fundamentally change history. Dr. Umar didn't just speak, he painted a dream. The proposed Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, FD, was intended to be the crown jewel, the first independent academy for young Black boys, a school meant to rival anything the current educational system offered. Over the years, millions of dollars in donations poured in. His supporters hailed him as a Kenyan visionary, while his critics dismissed him as a Kenyan scammer who would never deliver on his promises.
Looking for free shit, okay? I got 6 degrees. I'm a real doctor, not the fake ones on YouTube. You understand? Real credentials, real school psychologist. Stop looking for free shit from me.
And the unthinkable twist, an OnlyFans announcement. In 2025, a plot twist nobody anticipated hit like a thunderclap. Dr. Umar Johnson announced his entirely new venture. Out of nowhere, he officially launched an OnlyFans account. Dr. Umar didn't just shock the community by joining the platform. He attached a massive $111 a month with price tag to it. Yes, you read that correctly, $111 every month. In the same breath, he revealed he had been offered a deal to sell the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey FDMG Academy. This came from the same man who had sworn repeatedly that he would never abandon the project and who had previously mocked others, like rappers, for prioritizing money over morals. He is now, however, chasing a bag in the most unexpected way. The uproar and defense. Naturally, Dr. Umar attempted to calm the storm by asserting that his OnlyFans page would not feature hanky-panky, promising instead to deliver child political analysis and parenting advice. However, fans were not convinced. Combining the high-cost platform with his admission that he was even considering selling the FDMG property turned whispers into a full-blown uproar. People began scrutinizing him harder than ever, and the central question buzzing throughout the community was it all just smoke and mirrors? Instagram and Twitter immediately exploded with memes, debates, and public roasts. A few loyal followers tried to defend him, suggesting at least he's finding creative ways to raise funds for the school. But critics clapped back twice as hard, calling this the final proof that Dr. Umar never had a real plan to begin with. Caught in the middle were the donors, the regular people who had sacrificed for years, now left speechless and wondering if all their hard-earned money had gone down the drain. The $111 spiritual subscription. The way Dr. Umar dropped this bombshell was pure spectacle. He kicked off his blog post in his usual fashion, chanting, "Peace and Black Power, family," and hyping himself up as the King Kong of consciousness, even bragging about being the #1 requested scholar in the world. But just when his audience thought it was business as usual, he unleashed the news that flipped everything upside down. Yes, I started an OnlyFans page. Dr. Umar then doubled down, insisting it would not be below-the-belt nonsense, but a platform for educational content. Still, no matter how much he tried to reframe it, the irony was impossible to ignore. In a world where millions pay $4.99 or $9.99 for their favorite creators, Dr. Umar skipped straight to the big leagues with a triple-digit monthly fee. He then claimed the 111 figure had become spiritual meaning. To some of his die-hard fans, this was seen as clever marketing. To others, it was straight-up exploitation and proof that the man who once condemned materialism was now playing the very same game he used to criticize. the ultimate betrayal, selling the academy. However, this is where the situation escalated from merely eyebrow-raising to jaw-dropping. The OnlyFans announcement was not even the real sting. The true bombshell came when Dr. Umar revealed he had received an official purchase offer for the FDMG Academy, the beating heart of his entire movement. He admitted he did not want to sell, but casually confessed that accepting the deal could put him in a very comfortable position. In that moment, the bucket mask slipped. For a man who once told supporters to skip their daily Starbucks and cancel family vacations to save the school, entertaining the thought of Haitian selling the whole thing speaks volumes about the past decade of sacrifice. In his own words, he floated the idea of cashing out and downsizing, perhaps moving the dream to a different city like Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, Houston, or even Africa. Imagine 10 years of donations, endless speeches, and countless promises tied to Bayou Wilmington, Delaware, suddenly being uprooted and relocated, as if it were nothing. For local supporters who believed they were building a legacy in their own backyard, it felt like an undeniable betrayal. And for the critics who had been calling him a fraud for years, this moment was the whole smoking gun they had been waiting to find.
We can afford to purchase the HVAC unit for the school and the gym. We can afford to purchase the HVAC material. We cannot afford to pay for the labor. It is the labor, brothers and sisters. It is the labor, brothers and sisters.
Dr. Umar, however, did not back down. Instead, he doubled down. He flipped the entire controversy into a purported test of loyalty. Standing firm, he challenged his supporters by asking, if we hold on to the Douglas building, how long is it going to take y'all to raise $1 million to renovate it? In effect, he threw the challenge right back at his donors, daring them to continue contributing or face the brutal reality that the school might be sold. The message was explicit. The fate of FDMG was no longer solely in his hands. It was in Yassisi's, theirs, Apple, Tights, the firestorm and desperation. Instead of generating a surge of hope, that move set off a firestorm. Online forums instantly erupted with heated debates over whether Dr. Umar was being honest about genuine financial struggles, or if this was simply another guilt trip designed to squeeze the last remaining pennies out of an already depleted donor base. YouTube quickly lit up with videos attacking him, featuring titles like Dr. Umar broke and FDMG scam exposed again. Even past clips of his own daughter resurfaced, in which she had hinted at cracks in his credibility and underlying family tensions. Then came the icing on the cake, his OnlyFans account. Critics blasted it as white clownish, accusing him of tarnishing his so-called Pan-African crown. Yet against all odds, his loyalists still cheered him on. They argued that OnlyFans was merely another revolutionary tool, that Umar was a victim of sabotage, and that selling the school might actually be a genius move to expand his empire somewhere bigger. But to many, this did not look like strength. It reeked of desperation. The man once celebrated as the untouchable Pan-African general now appeared trapped in a corner, scrambling between PayPal donations, Cash App shoutouts, and now OnlyFans subscriptions, just to keep the lights on. His once booming speeches about discipline and sacrifice sound considerably different when the person delivering them seems to be fighting merely to stay afloat, echoed by his pleas for 111 a month subscribers. The bizarre twist, a stage partner. In true Umar fashion, he could not resist tossing in another bizarre twist. Not only is he promoting OnlyFans and weighing the option of selling FDMG, but he also announced he is actively hunting for a female partner, specifically a conscious stage partner, to match his energy on the lecture circuit. His requirements for this partner are demanding. She must be his white twin in every way. A die-hard Pan-African nationalist, fiercely loyal to the movement, and completely cut off from anyone he labels a hater. To critics, this sounded like ego dressed up as revolution. To supporters, it was simply Umar being Umar, eccentric, dramatic, and uncompromising. And that is where the tension becomes undeniable. On one side, there is the image of Dr. Umar as the fearless leader of a liberation movement, raising money for an academy meant to change generations of young black boys. On the other side, there is the big reality bit, a stalled building in Delaware, mounting debts, and now the possibility of selling the very property that donor sacrifice was meant to secure. Add in the OnlyFans price tag of cheap $111 a month, and the contradictions become impossible to ignore. The fan base is deeply split. Some are calling for people to admit it's a bisouted failed dream, while others still cling to hope, insisting Dr. Umar can pull through if people just give him more time and more money. One thing, however, is clear. The aura of Yah's invincibility surrounding Dr. Umar Johnson has decisively cracked. Whether or not he sells FDMG, whether or not his OnlyFans venture thrives, or whether his lecture partner ever materializes, the truth is already out. Some loyal supporters tried to hold the line. They jumped on social media defending him with posts like, "He's just using modern tools to reach the people. Y'all are mad because Umar is creative." They even doubled down on his claim that OnlyFans would be an educational hub, not some scandalous playground. But realistically, when most people hear the name OnlyFans, they are not thinking about political lectures or parenting advice. That significant disconnect was the first major crack in the entire illusion.
But I'm going to talk about the offer to purchase the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School. We have received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School. We have received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School, which we don't want to do, but at the same time, you guys are donating, and we thank you, all the donors, for donating. But at the same time, money is not coming easy. Money is not coming easy.
The ruthless critique and comfortable betrayal. Meanwhile, critics wasted no time in attacking Dr. Umar with ruthless precision. One viral tweet went straight for the jugular. For 10 years of donations, and this man gives you an OnlyFans subscription instead of a school bell. The internet devoured this sentiment, retweeting it thousands of times. On TikTok, a skit featuring a fake Dr. Umar yelling, "Peace and Black Power," while under a ring light, pretending to upload exclusive content, also went viral. The watch memes practically wrote themselves, and the roasting was endless. The deeper wound, however, did not come from the jokes. It came directly from Dr. Umar's own confession. His exact words echoed across every blog and podcast. "We received an offer to sell the Frederick Douglass High School. We don't want to, but it would put us in a very comfortable position." That one word, comfortable, stung like a fiery betrayal. For donors who had sacrificed rent money, skipped meals, and drained savings accounts to keep the dream alive, the notion that he might be cash out for his own comfort felt like the highest order of treachery. Desperation and contradictions. The contradictions worsened immediately. One moment, Dr. Umar thundered that the FDMG building must be preserved at all costs. The next, he casually floated the idea of packing up and moving the project to Baltimore, Chicago, or even Africa. To many, this didn't sound like a stable strategy. It sounded like desperation. How could the man who preached stability, vision, and legacy now talk like someone ready to fold up shop and run? The fallout was fast, furious, and impossible to contain. Longtime donors went live on Instagram, pulling out receipts of contributions dating back to 2014, furious that the school still hadn't opened. One woman even broke down in tears on Amara, stating, "I believed in him. I believed this was for the boys in my community. Now he's talking about selling the dream we built together. No, I can't forgive that." Yet, even as the outrage spread, Dr. Umar kept doubling down on donation pleas. He repeated his familiar mantras with an unsettling urgency. "Get on your Cash App, family, $FD school. Get on your PayPal, brothers and sisters. Mail in your checks." The desperate tone made the fiery orator who once moved crowds to tears now come off like a hustler cornered by his own broken promises. The search for a twin partner. Then came another curveball. Dr. Umar announced he was searching for a female lecture partner. Not just anyone, but a woman who would be his twin in every way. a revolutionary counterpart to balance his masculine energy. His rules were explicit. She must have no ties to haters, no socializing with critics, and she had to be a Hulse die-hard Pan-Africanist through and through. On the surface, it sounded like a call for unity. However, many fans weren't buying it, seeing it as a vanity project, and yet another distraction from the fact that the FDMG building still sat unopened and crumbling in Delaware. Some women eagerly submitted clips of themselves speaking about Pan-Africanism, hoping to join him. Others simply mocked the entire exercise, joking, "So instead of a school, we're auditioning for Umar's sidekick position?" Memes quickly flooded timelines, one going viral, showing Dr. Umar holding a giant casting call flyer stamped with the words, "Now hiring Dr. Umar's revolution sidekick." The crushing pressure and unraveling image, Dr. Umar's female twin talk, did not manage to hide the real issue: the money. He admitted that donations had slowed, and after 10 years of promises, people were simply done with speeches. The fact that he even entertained the thought of selling FDMG demonstrated that the financial pressure was crushing him. Then came whispers that white Delaware authorities might auction the school over unpaid taxes and utilities. Suddenly, critics were asking, was this always a scam? Old clips of Dr. Umar bragging that he was the King Kong of consciousness resurfaced, now paired with footage of him begging for donations and OnlyFans subscriptions. His once fearsome image had entirely become some meme material. Still, Dr. Umar kept the performance going on live streams, blasting haters, praising African donors, and swearing the dream lived on. Some loyalists kept sending cash, but faith does not build schools, money does. And the million-dollar question lingered. If donations don't come, will Dr. Umar finally sell FDMG? His vague answers kept everyone guessing, but the truth was staring everyone down. 10 years of fundraising and still no students in classrooms. The FDMG property had become less a monument to Pan-African triumph and more a symbol of unfulfilled promises. Now, with Dr. Umar flirting with OnlyFans and Hinty neighing at selling the building, that once sacred dream risked turning into a Mantiris punchline. The cursed ingenious, yet no one could deny his white mastery of the spotlight. Every outrageous twist kept him trending, kept donations trickling in, and kept the world watching. Love him or hate him, you simply could not look away. That is the pot, curse, and the genius of Dr. Umar Johnson. This story has stopped being just about a school. It is now about credibility, ego, and survival. Can he reinvent himself yet again? Or is this the slow unraveling of a man who promised an empire but delivered endless controversy? One thing is certain, with the OnlyFans bombshell and the FDMG dilemma, the stage is set for an even crazier chapter. Because if you think Dr. Umar is done shocking us, you are not paying attention. Stay tuned. The next twist will be even wilder.
Brothers and sisters, yes, I started an OnlyFans page. What is it? OnlyFans/Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I haven't added any content yet to the OnlyFans page. I need to play with it, learn how to work it. It will be all political content, educational content. I think I'm going to load up heavily on Black parent content.
And the cracking faith and the auction threat. How far can faith stretch before it snaps? CCCs. Whispers of an auction grew louder as Delaware residents posted photos of the FDMG campus. The images showed boarded windows, chipped paint, and weeds pushing through the pavement. Once famously painted as a fortress of Pan-African power, it now looked like an abandoned relic. Word spread that unpaid bills could put the property on the chopping block, and suddenly the dream of Black independence was staring down foreclosure. Dr. Umar's response was classic bravado. On live streams, he thundered, "Family, we will not let the enemy take FDMG from us. If you don't want me to sell it, then you better send those donations." He immediately flipped the crisis into another loyalty test, daring his supporters to keep paying. But the more he begged, the louder the critics became. YouTube exposés titled, "The School That Never Opened," and Umar's $1 million mirage piled up. Podcasts mocked his OnlyFans launch, and even mainstream media started circling the story. Through it all, Dr. Umar kept spinning the narrative, shouting out donors from Africa and bragging that he was still the King Kong of consciousness. Yet, the cracks were impossible to hide. No students, no staff, no classrooms, just empty promises. The split, diehards versus disillusioned donors. A significant split emerged within his following. On one side were the diehards, convinced that enemies had sabotaged the school and that Dr. Umar was battling forces bigger than himself. For them, sending another $20 wasn't just a donation, it was a revolutionary act. On the other side were disillusioned ex-donors. One woman went viral waving her receipts, shouting, "I sent this man $500 back in 2017. My son is grown now. Where's the school he promised?" Her word fueled even more doubt and outrage. Dr. Umar's answer was to double down on OnlyFans. He swore it would host lectures for Black parents and exclusive strategies for education. However, the $511 price tag was roasted non-stop. Memes compared the subscription cost to Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus combined, mocking him for charging luxury prices without delivering any tangible results. The darker reality of the purchase offer, and yet the scandal only boosted his fame. TikTok users stitched his speeches with bursts of laughter. His name trended everywhere. Suddenly, people who had never even heard of FDMG now knew the entire saga. Umar, the school, the donations, and the OnlyFans twist. Behind all the spectacle, a darker reality loomed: the purchase offer. Dr. Umar admitted to became a shadow over everything. Was he seriously considering it? Rumors swirled that a local developer had stepped in, dangling enough cash to wipe his debts and give him some breathing room. If true, it could mark the end of FDMG as anyone knew it. Still, Dr. Umar played coy. He repeated, "If it's up to me, we won't sell. But family, I need to know, do you want one big campus or two small schools?" The question itself immediately became a punchline. Blogs mocked, "We don't even have one classroom yet. What's this talk of two schools?" The circus and the legacy. Even his search for a female lecture partner spiraled into scandal. Audition clips surfaced online of women reciting Pan-African slogans, desperate to stand beside him. Critics slammed it as a bull circus, accusing Dr. Umar of turning the revolution into a talent show. One viral meme showed a crumbling FDMG building next to Dr. Umar holding a rose, captioned, "The Bachelor, Pan-African Edition." Yet, through the chaos, Dr. Umar pressed on. He plastered Cash App and PayPal links across every platform, called out haters, mocked critics, and swore that history would vindicate him. To his loyalists, he was still a general under siege. To everyone else, he looked like a man desperately clinging to a dream slipping through his fingers, a spectacle spiraling deeper into absurdity. The question was no longer just about the school, it was about Wissam's legacy. Could Dr. Umar Johnson still be remembered as a warrior for education? Or would his name forever be tied to a dream that ended with an OnlyFans page? The stakes could not be higher, and the answer rests not in his speeches, but in his actions. Time is running out. The FDMG property is aging, the bills are not vanishing, and donors are not lining up as they once did. If Dr. Umar does not make a decisive move soon, the choice may be made for him. By the state, by creditors, or by the crushing weight of public opinion. Still, if history shows anything, it is that Dr. Umar thrives in chaos. Every scandal, every backlash, and every viral moment only makes him louder. And perhaps that is the tactic, staying unforgettable no matter the cost. Because love him or hate him, you cannot ignore him. That is the twist. Even as his empire crumbles, as critics circle, and as donors lose faith, Dr. Umar Johnson keeps himself at the center of the storm, louder, wilder, and more unforgettable than ever. The devastating question remains. When the smoke clears, will he be remembered as the man who built a school or the man who built a circus? With OnlyFans subscriptions live and an FDMG sale looming, his next move could determine his entire legacy. And everyone, fans, haters, and donors, is watching, waiting for a final bell that may never ring. So, what do you think? Is this the end of Dr. Umar's movement or just the next outrageous chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned because the next twist in this saga will be even more explosive.